YouTube, Synth115 here. Today we're going to be going over a short but sweet Minecraft Mekanism tutorial mod. If you like the video, give her a thumbs up. If you want to see more, then we'll continue the series. Let me know down below. I stream most nights on Twitch, so feel free to stop by. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Alrighty, so I know this looks like a lot, and it can be intimidating. We're going to try to give you the most information about these two units as I possibly can, and as brief as I can. So, first, we have our Fission Reactor. So, this guy right here, you can build this out of a few parts. So, you're going to need Reactor Glass, not to be mistaken with structural glass. We'll get into that later. You're going to need control rod assembly, and then you are going to need a fission reactor port and a fission reactor casing. All right, so this can be in any cube or rectangle. It can be up to 18 blocks high from what I understand. How do you make this? All right, so first off, you are going to need the fission fuel assembly. So that's what these are in the center. So if I break this, for instance, that's what they look like. Okay, so you're gonna stack these on top of each other. All right, they have to be on the floor. So, and then you top it off with the control rod assembly. That is the main requirement. Okay, easy enough. So with the reactor glass, it is much cheaper to produce, but the frame, being all four sides of your rectangle or square, whatever you want to call it, you have to have it as the reactor casing, including the floor and the ceiling. Okay, with that out of the way, the next thing you're going to need, obviously, is ports. Now, you're going to need a configurator for this. So you're going to configure these, which, in case you don't know how to do that, you're going to crouch, and then you're going to right click on them with the configurator, and it's going to change it to the respective outputs. Yellow being waste, there is heated waste output for steam, and then you're going to have your input and your input. So this will be the coolant input and the fuel input. Cool. So with that out of the way, let's put our reactor glass back, and it'll fire up. Once you build it, you'll get the redstone light. If you don't get that, then you did something wrong. So this is important. All right, if you don't watch your temperature, you don't watch your coolant, make sure it's maintaining, then this will blow up and it'll render whatever area you're in almost useless. And if that does happen, don't worry, there is a way with the hazmat pants suit, you know, so right here. So if all else fails, you can always start over and still build, but you will take radiation damage and it's not a great time. So, fuel. This is where it gets fairly confusing. So we're gonna go ahead to the back, use my jetpack here. All of this is to fuel the reactor. I know what you're thinking, well, what am I doing? So let's make it easy, and we will start from the front to the rear, or the beginning to the end. So right here, we are producing fissile fuel, all right? So you're gonna need your isotopic centrifuge, right? So the next piece you're gonna need, Energized Smelter. Next, enrichment chamber, chemical oxidizer, and then finally, you're gonna need chemical infuser, okay? Simple enough. So chain them in this order. You're gonna need smelter, enrichment, chemical oxidizer, and you're gonna need this infuser. So best way to do it, right? You get your energized smelter, you're gonna put raw uranium in here. It's gonna produce the caked uranium right here, yellow cake uranium, and then it's gonna turn it into fuel. All right, easy, perfect. Okay, that'll make your uranium hexafluoride. So next you're gonna need your hydrofluoric acid. So we're gonna run over here, you're going to need your chemical dissolution chamber. You're going to feed this fluoride. All right, simple. And that's going to plug in to your other chemical infuser. You're going to need 3 of these in total. So you're going to need to make sulfur trioxide, and you're going to need water vapor to make sulfuric acid. Now, where do you get water vapor? You're going to come over here to this machine. This is a rotary condenser. You're going to get your water vapor from here. Make sure to set it to decondensating. You can switch the operation right here. You're just going to feed this guy water, and then it's going to produce your water vapor. Okay, easy enough. So what's plugging into this, you may ask? You're going to have another chemical infuser. This is your 3rd one. Right now this is empty. You're going to feed this guy oxygen, and then you're going to set up similar as before. So you're going to need your chemical oxidizer, and then you're going to need a pressurized reactor. Okay, so this guy, you can either feed it automatically, or you can drain the hydrogen automatically. Either way, it is up to you. So you're going to feed this guy coal. It's going to crush the coal. Make sure you give it oxygen as well. You're going to get the oxygen from another electrolytic separator. You're going to feed it water, and then it's going to produce oxygen. Now, it does produce another, it'll give you hydrogen right here. You can set this to dumping, and if you have the UI bug, depending on the mod you're using, you're going to have to click on the very bottom of the button here. If you click directly on it, it won't change. So you just have to be right on the edge. It'll dump for you. So with that oxygen, it's going to dump right into here. You're going to feed this coal. It's going to go down the line, create the next thing, create the next thing, and then you're going to get your fuel here. Okay, so that is how you fuel this guy. That's literally it. I know it seems like a lot, but once you get everything piped in, it's not that bad. Now, as piping goes, so you're going to want to make sure that you have your side config, everything right. Okay, so remember, there is a gases tab, there's an energy tab, and there's an item tab. Okay, remember that, because you'll get confused. Make sure you have your gases eject on and respective outputs. Okay, cool. So next, how do we manage this guy? Because if you don't manage him, he is going to blow up. First off, obviously you need coolant, right? So you're going to need to pump water into this guy, and it is ruthless. All of this is for that fission reactor. So you're going to have to make sure these guys are operating at max. I recommend putting energy and speed upgrades. Make sure they're 8 maxed out. Good to go. So the next thing you are going to need, and I highly recommend this because I have not found a more efficient way to get rid of steam. If this guy produces steam, it's going to produce heat, and if it sits inside of this tank, your heated coolant tank, it'll eventually, the temperature will go up, it'll start damaging, and then if it gets too hot, it will explode. So we are going to pump steam into our industrial turbine. Okay, to make this guy, it has to be in a cube, and you have to have your turbine casing inside, right? This turbine has to be right in the center. So you have to make a square and make sure it is centered. So it has to be even amount of blocks, make that guy centered. So same rules apply with this as it does with the reactor. So for the turbine, the outer edges all have to be casing. Okay, so let me turn off the reactor and I'll show you how this guy works. So this guy obviously fills up with steam. We're going to break one block. So right here you can see the central turbine. Okay, so I highly recommend, at least as far as the turbine rotor, you have it at least 6 high. Okay, so next thing you're going to need is inside of here, I forget what it's called, you're going to need pressure dispensers. Okay, and then you're going to need turbine vents, and then on top of all of that, you're going to need electromagnetic coils, and then on top of that, you're going to need a rotational complex. The rotational complex is in the center of the turbine. That's what connects the main shaft here to the roof. That is that center piece. You're going to surround all the the centerpiece with the pressure dispensers. And then you're going to add a stack of vents, just 2. This is going to be a 1x2 here. And then you're going to go up here. You're going to add a nice little square of these electromagnetic coils and saturating condensers, and then you're good to go. So you are going to want to surround the main shaft and then cover the main shaft with the coils. Next, we're going to take a look at the vents, the turbine vent. So these produce water. It'll convert your steam into water, and then you can use that water to power your reactor. So it's a great producer. So I would highly recommend surrounding it just like I have here, if you can afford it. It is rather expensive. If you want to copy this design, I will let you guys look at it a little bit further. But once you build it, again, you'll get the redstone little guy as soon as I fix the glass. This also uses a different glass. You're going to be using structural glass, not to be mixed up with the reactor glass. So keep that in mind. They look the same. So once you finish, you're good to go. So yours will not immediately have steam. Okay, so steam with this guy, another thing to keep in note, makes power, right? Once you fill up this bar on the right, and it'll vary depending on how big your industrial turbine is. Once you fill up that power meter, you're going to be storing steam at that point. Make sure that you turn on dumping excess. And like I said before, you have to be right on the corner. You do not want it at idle. If this fills all the way up with steam, that'll fill out all the way up with steam, and then you will blow yourself up, and that is not good. So make sure that's dumping excess. And that's pretty much all there is to it. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. If this helped you, let me know. If something else you'd like to know, let me know. And I guess that will end the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you in the live stream.